Hey guys, machinamechlord here, just coming at you with a deck guide to Sylvans. Now, I do have a bit of bad news. On the other hand, I was banned on DN. The admins are bullshit, but whatever. I was enforcing the rules of DN, and I got banned. Whatever. But we're going to go over Sylvans, and a lot of ways you can play Sylvans, support for the deck, so on and so forth, and just ways you can play them. Now, I'm going to start off by going over the basic effect of Sylvan cards, and what they do, and how they work. Now, Sylvans, when they're normal summoned or special summoned, oftentimes excavate cards in the top of your deck. Now, that's how they work. They excavate. Now, when you use the excavate effect, and when the cards excavated are monsters, and they're plant type monsters, they are sent to the graveyard and considered excavated, which will trigger all of the Sylvan cards' effects. Now, I know that here on Dev, some of the effects are broken here on DevPro, which is just some bugs that I'm sure that they will fix. But right now, the deck itself is really good, and it's going to be a top-tier deck. Now, all Sylvans excavate for their own card effects. There are some that are good, there are some that are bad, but we'll go over them. So this here is Hermit Tree. Now, when he is excavated, you can look at up to 3 cards in the top of your deck, then place them in the top of your deck in any order. So he's really good, and he's a 2700 beater and a level 8. So if you're thinking what I'm thinking, there's could be some Fellground plays here. So Hermit Tree, too good. And his special effect is you can excavate 1 card from the top of your deck, and if it's a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard. So you can excavate 1 card, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, draw a card. So that's Hermit Tree's special effect. Now here you have Sejukoya. He has his own special summon effect. So when a Sylvan monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard, otherwise place it to the bottom of your deck. So pretty much almost all the Sylvans will send anything that's not a plant type monster back to the bottom of your deck. Spells, whatever, they're all sent back to the bottom of your deck except for plant type monsters. Sejukoya special summons itself, and it's level 7, and it's a wind type. And if you know something about the monsters, they have varied attributes. Wind and fire are most of the main ones. There's a few earth, well, I think there's a few, there's a few earth ones and a few water ones, but other than that, you can actually run Tempest, Redox, Tidal. Here, you can run the rulers in here if you really want to make some combos off of Sejukoya. But when Sejukoya is excavated, you can target a Sylvan Spar trap card in your graveyard and add to your hand. So that's Sejukoya's excavated effect. Now we have here Sylvan Guardian Orc. Well, Sylvan Guardian Orc. Or Guardian Oak. I should say Guardian Oak. So how to pronounce. But once per turn, you can choose from 1 to 3, and excavate that many cards from the top of your deck, and send the plant type monster's graveyard. Obviously, replace the other ones at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, if it's excavated from the deck, you can target one other plant type monster in your graveyard and place that target on the top of your deck. So currently, like if you're planning on playing this deck competitively, Guardio could be something you just only play at 1. As to our Sejukoya at 3, and Hermit Tree maybe 2 or 3 depending on the style of what you're building. Now this is Blade Fender. When it's just opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can excavate the top card of your deck. So obviously that'll trigger off their effects, blah 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 blah. Now, if it's excavated, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So Blade Fender just likes to come to your hand, and he's a 1/9 beater. So he's a really good strong beater. And then you have Flower Knight. When he's summoned, you can excavate the top card of your deck. Now, if he's excavated, you can choose a Sylvan card from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. So for the next time you excavate, you know what effect you're going to be getting off, so on and so forth. Now you have Martial Leaf. When it's normal summoned, you can excavate up to 2 cards. When he's excavated, you can target 1 monster on the field and destroy that target. So Martial Leaf is like Night Assassin or whatever, just beats up monsters. This is Mikoranji. When it's destroyed by opponent's card, either by battle or effect, you can excavate the top card from your deck. If it's excavated, all plant-type monsters you control gain 300 attack. So, she's like the worst Sylvan. Then you have Komachi. When it's flipped face up, excavate up to 5 cards from your deck. If it's excavated, target 1 spell or trap card in the field and destroy it. So you really can set up a lot of combo plays here. Then you have Peacekeeper. When Peacekeeper is normal or special summoned, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's excavated, target 1 level 4 or lower plant-type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You only get Peacekeeper summon effect once per turn, so don't try to go and over-abuse Peacekeeper because you can't. Then you have Sprout Collect. Now Sprout Collect I actually find is particularly rather useful sometimes. Now when it's special summoned, you can choose either 1 to 2 and excavate up to that many cards. If this card is excavated, you can special summon 1 level 1 plant-type monster from your deck. So basically, if you excavate Sprout Collect, you can summon Sprout Collect and get Sprout Collect's excavation effect, which would then allow you to excavate, allowing you to get other excavation effects off. Also, the excavation effect in Sprout Collect and this summon effect is only once per turn. So don't try to overuse Sprout Collect either. Now, for the spells of the Sylvans, you have Sylvan Charity. Draw 3 cards, reveal 2 cards in your hand, including at least 1 Sylvan card, and replace them in the top of your deck in any order. Or if you don't have any Sylvan cards in your hand, reveal all the cards in your hand and place them on top of your deck in any order. So Sylvan Charity really can only be used in Sylvans, just because you have to reveal a Sylvan card to essentially save your stuff. So Sylvan Charity comes at a big risk, but in Sylvans you shouldn't have any issues. This is Mount Sylvania, their field spell. You can send a face-up plant-type monster to choose 1 Sylvan card from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. Now, during your opponent's end phase, you can use Mount Sylvania to excavate the top card of your deck. So Mount Sylvania allows you to combo pretty nicely. You can activate Mount Sylvania, send a plant-type monster from your hand or on the field to the graveyard. Then you can use Hermit Tree to, excavate it. And then you can plus off that effect. Then draw a card, which it can just allow you to go major pluses with this deck. Now, we have 1 trap card for the deck, and that is Sylvan Blessing. Place 1 card from your hand on either the top or bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon a Sylvan monster from your hand or graveyard. It is unaffected by other card effects this turn, and you place it either at the top or the bottom of the deck during the end phase. So, Sylvan Blessing will allow you to combo off with Peacekeeper, Sprout Collect, whatever the effects may be, combo off with Hermit Tree and Sylvania, and get some really nice combos off. But there's a lot of other support for the deck that can really be used that's not just for Sylvans. Since Sylvans are plant-type monsters, you can get a lot of effects off them. For example, we have Spore. You can banish one of these, gain that level, and then start doing some synchro plays with Sylvans. Spore is also a plant, so your Sylvan guys will excavate it to the graveyard. Dandelion is a plant. If it gets excavated to the graveyard, you get your 2 tokens. You have Lone Fire Blossom, tribute a plant-type monster, special summon a plant-type monster. Go for your Hermit Tree, Then Hermit Tree uses your effects to start going plus. Gigaplant allows you just to loop around and keep going plus with your monsters and effects. Supervise to power your Gigaplant to keep your looping on. Fragrant Storm, destroy a face-up plant-type monster on the field and draw a card. If it's a plant-type monster, reveal it to draw another card. Fragrant Storm in this deck is very overpowered because you can combo off with Sylvania, putting the top card from your deck, and putting a 7 plant-type monster on top of your deck. Then playing Fragrant Storm, plussing that card, then revealing it to get another plus. So Fragrant Storm can really just be that good. Also, Miracle Fertilizer to special summon back Hermit Tree or Sageacoya and just bounce off their effects and just do really well with their effects, and then use them as XYZs or whatever. Then you have Mark of the Rose. Banish plant-type monsters from your grave. Well, banish a plant-type. Remove from play one plant-type monster from your graveyard. Equip it to a monster your opponent controls and take it, and then just play Swappy. Now, Sylvans do happen to have their own extra deck monsters. Also known as, well, there's 2 of them. I'll say the Sylvan High Protector. The old name was Shinra High Protector, I'll say. Or Shinra Morigami, I'll say, is what its original name was called. But he's a 32 beater, and once per turn, declare a card name, then activate the top card of your deck. So that gets off excavation effects. And if it's a declared card, you can add it to your hand. So you can call a trap, and if you get that trap, or you call a spell, you can get that spell. You call a monster, you can get that monster. You call Lone Fire, you can get it. Now, it's really good. Then, when you do send it from your deck to the graveyard, well, if a card is sent from your deck to your graveyard, you can detach one material, and then just bounce a card back to the hand. Or bounce it to either the top or bottom of the deck, sorry. And Alsa's effectively works once per turn, but it's a 32 defense, 23 attack, so you get a lot of stuff. And then for our last card is Aurea the Sylvan High Arbiter. Now it's a giant bird, and it's rank 7. Its effect is once per turn you can send one plant-type monster from your hand or face up from your monster card zone to the graveyard. Look at a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the level of the sent monster, then place them on the top of the deck in any order. Once per turn, you can detach one material, excavate it to the top 3 cards from your deck, which would allow you to trigger your effects. So, Sylvan High Arbiter is really good and has 2100 attack and 25 defense, and is ranked 7, and is a generic rank 7. So, that right there just allows you to get off a lot of plays, but that's kind of a little bit of a deck guide to Sylvans. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you later.